Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on The Mob. We are here with Nicole Sanders. She is Director of AppleGate Recovery. This is a pretty newly clinic. You said about 8 months?
9 months. We've been here.
9 months, medication-assisted treatment for substance abuse addiction. And so today she's going to tell us a little bit more about AppleGate Recovery and the work that they're doing here in Monroe County. Nicole, thank you so much for joining
You're
us.
welcome. Okay, Applegate Recovery has 399 locations all across the country, and we have 40 in Canada. We're a medicated assisted treatment program, so we treat substance use disorder, and we also treat alcoholism.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Which, a lot of people don't,
They don't put the two together. That's why I added that. Yeah, so we
great.
offer Vivitrol for people that suffer with alcoholism.
Awesome. And so, what services, like in layman's terms,
We offer Suboxone, Sublocade, Subutex. So if you're struggling with any type of opioid addiction, pain management issues, you'll meet with the doctor and they'll give you one-on-one specialized treatment just catered to you and not just a general thing like everybody really thinks it is.
Awesome. And so, there's a stigma that's attached to addiction, opioid addiction,
Right.
And unfortunate because we're in an area that has, pretty high rates here in Monroe County. How could you explain to people that don't really know medical terminology that addiction is a disease that needs treatment?
Okay, addiction is a disease of the brain. Just like diabetes is a disease of the pancreas or heart disease is a disease of the heart. You need medication to combat this disease, along with counseling and other services that we will refer you to, because we just don't treat the addiction, but we treat the whole person. We have a compassionate staff. They will meet you where you're at and help you find the things that you need.
Awesome. I love that so much. And so, talking about the medication-assisted treatment and, and stigma in itself, I come from New York where there's the methadone program on every corner and every block, right?
Right.
So there's a kind of, attitude that people have towards programs like that. What kind of risk are there in medication-assisted treatment? If there are any, and what do you guys do to combat those risks?
Well, there's risk to any type of treatment, and people can most definitely think they're out on the street selling it. We try to treat the whole person. So if there's mental illness involved, if there's legal issues or whatever, we try to work with that to minimize that risk. We've partnered with the county and different programs where they could be our referral sources. So the person doesn't have to be scared to come here and tell us what they're going through.
Yeah.
So when you treat the whole person, they're less likely to do, deviant things with the medication that we give them.
Awesome. I love that answer. No, because to be honest, people hear medication-assisted treatment.
Right.
And then you top that on the whole stigma of addiction in itself, and people don't really get the entire thing and how it can help somebody. I didn't answer the question, but I did take a little bit of a tour on the place, and you were talking about treating the whole person, and I think environment is like a huge role in that. You had the tree of hope.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yes.
The tree of hope. Can you tell me a little bit about the tree of hope?
The tree of hope, I put it up for Recovery Month. And it's a tree, and we add little leaves, and the patients put sayings on it that help them get through their tough times. So hopefully when another patient comes in, they're having a hard day or something, they can look up and read it and take it to heart and see what's going on with other people and to know that they're not alone. And that also goes along with group counseling, individual counseling, family counseling. It's a whole big thing that the person will be involved in. It's not just come here, get your medication and go. You have to treat the whole person, excuse me, and different exercises for different seasons, like Recovery Month, to let them know that they're not alone and people do recover. And there are other people out there who've been where they're at now and that can help them move forward. So hopefully we're implanting those seeds in their head, as well as educating the public to reduce this stigma of addiction.
Awesome. I love that. And then you just talked about counseling, and that was my next question, ironically enough. So I know you don't do counseling here as of now, but that's in the future plans, right?
Yes.
How necessary is counseling for treatment, for recovery?
It's a part of their treatment. And you shouldn't do one without the other. So I've partnered with local programs in the community to refer them, and outside of the community as well, because people come outside of this county to our program. So I'm reaching out to everybody, so there's something that's convenient for them and that can fit into their schedule, and also is covered by their insurance, because that's a big deterrent when they can't afford to go to treatment.
Talking about affording, right? Here you guys cover, you have a lot of different insurance coverages, right? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
We accept Geisinger Family right now. If you have private insurance, we'll give you all the paperwork so you can be reimbursed. We work with everybody, and we also do fee for service. So if you need to come and you want to pay cash, it's $280 a month. A lot of businesses will reimburse that person for it, and we'll give them what we need, and we'll work with the insurance companies to help them succeed.
That's pretty amazing, because we know recovery treatment is expensive.
Very expensive.
And $280 a month, even out of pocket, I mean, and that'd be worth it to me
Right.
at that point. But the fact that you guys do take the, the Medicare by, do Geisinger, you said family plan?
Geisinger Family, yeah.
I think that's super amazing, and it's definitely needed, especially in an area where people are struggling financially as it is. My family and I, we've been personally affected by, addiction. Many people know our story here. My father was, addicted to heroin for most of my childhood. And education was one of those things that really brought us, that helped me understand what he was going through.
Right.
So what roles do family and friends play here at AppleGate Recovery?
Families play a huge part. We often refer people to counseling together, so the spouse, the mother, the father can understand actually what the patient is going through. Oftentimes there's a misconception of what is going on, and usually the phrase is just fix them. Just have them stop, and it doesn't work like that. And usually when the family is involved, there's a better outcome, because everybody's on the same page. Not only are they helping the patient to stay in recovery, they're also encouraging them to do things that's positive for them. And especially children, we want the patient to be involved in their recovery so they understand what their children may interpret their addiction as, and where they don't feel responsible for that parent, for the things that they're doing and things like that. Because a lot of times, well, all the time, children have unconditional love, but a lot of times children blame themselves, and the parent doesn't even realize it.
That is so true.
So this is where counseling plays a major role in the person's recovery. So every time a person comes in here, we refer them out, in this county or whatever county that they live in, and we make sure that their insurance is participating with that provider, so there is no extra fee that they incur.
I love that you said that, because, in my own experience, I internalized a lot of the, the things that were happening in my household, because you don't have an idea. Without the education, you think, well, addiction is a choice, which is absurd, because who chooses to be, in that situation? But you think, they're choosing to be like that, and a lot of children often think, well, if maybe they loved me more, or maybe they, I did something different, they would choose me instead of the drugs. And that is not at all what the person is, essentially choosing. So I love that you said that, because that education aspect for the family, I think it's so important for them to understand that addiction is a disease of the brain, like you said earlier. And understanding that while their choices may have gotten them there, the addiction itself is not a choice. But I love that you guys have that here. Recovery can be, recovery can be a choice. And it's true when you said, the success rate is higher when you have a support system, when you feel like, you're protected, that you can talk about your feelings to people. So I love that you are able to refer families out and help them as a whole in a more holistic approach.
The patient also needs the therapy, because oftentimes they have trauma.
Yeah.
A high percentage of our patients have traumas that they've never dealt with. And so all of that comes out. And when you're dealing with something that's traumatizing to you, what do you go back? You go back to something that's comforting to you.
Yeah.
So now you learn different tools and techniques where you can stay in your recovery.
Wow. Yeah, I really like that. Great program, guys. If y'all listening, I'm just saying, you know somebody going through this. AppleGate got it going on here. But besides that, right, and I just want to kind of end with this question. Elections are coming up in November. I remember, we were speaking before, and you were very passionate about that. What kind of resources do you think that treatment centers like AppleGate Recovery need on a local and state level?
Well, legislators have things like the State Opioid Response Program grants, and those things are wonderful because it makes the patients feel like they're not alone and the community and the government is behind them. When you have different programs available to our clientele, it can reduce the rate of crime. It can reduce transmitted diseases. It can reduce stigmas. And the person doesn't feel like they're alone struggling, especially out here in these rural areas. This is not a big city like New York, like you said.
Yeah.
So treatment is far and few between. So that's why I go out and try to meet with all of the providers in the community so we can all work together.
Yeah.
Because there's no like, okay, I can do this better than you. We all work as a team.
Yeah.
And so any program with the same mindset, I'm gladly refer patients to them, and they do it to us as well. So that's what legislation can do with us. There's no, it's not a political thing I'm getting into. It's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's the people that we're trying to service.
And so last week, actually, on The Mob, if you guys have been watching, we had Miss PA, Alyssa Bainbridge, with us, and she has the More Than Project as a result, of her experience with her brother that had bipolar disorder, and he died from an OD, unfortunately. And she spoke about that. I kind of asked her the same question. With elections coming up, we as the community, we should be more involved, right? We should know who we're voting for, and more importantly, know what they're supporting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to do your research out there. Our community right now is hurting. I bet you we can pull any 5 people from in the street, and they know someone experiencing addiction. They know people going through these things, or they may be going through it themselves, And these are the things that we have to care about if we want our communities to get to a better place, not for yourself, but for the future generations as well. It's not an issue that's just going to go away if we ignore it. So, like she said, what was the grant again?
State Opioid Response.
That's a good one. Look into that. See who supported that.
The SOR. It's called the
SOR.
SOR, yes. But just things you need to know what the candidates stand for before you cast your vote.
Yes.
No matter what you are. If you're passionate about this and this field, these are the things that can help our community and the people we service.
You heard it from Nicole. Thank you so much
You're
for answering
welcome,
these
and thank
questions.
you for having me.
Of course. In the links for the website will be in the description. If you want to know more, if you want to get in contact, see how they can help you if you need the help. If you're a little shy, please reach out to us. We'll help you connect to my good friend Nicole here. It's not always easy to make that step to go into recovery, to get treatment, to get the help. It's not easy for the family, it's not easy for the person, but you have support here. You have a community that's willing to help you through that. So please do reach out if you need the help. If you want to find ways to be supportive, again, the website is going to be in the link in the description. So please do so. Thank you guys so much for being here, Nicole. Thank you again.